Evening. Today is July 11th. I'd like to call the meeting to order, 7:35. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and pledge allegiance?
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Bob.
Lorraine,
Present.
Shoemaker is absent. Mathis,
Here.
Krug is present. Kessler,
Here.
Gopal,
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have 6 members present.
All right, to the audience, I'd like to, on my left here, introduce Amanda Doyle. She is an attorney that goes along with Jack Belzer, and you're going to be here this month and next month.
Correct.
So,
That's until we have the motion, the agenda amended to change the meetings to the second and the fourth Mondays. So that's
okay.
coming up shortly.
all right. To the member,
And why, Mr. Tucker?
I don't know, Bob.
to the members of tonight's audience, I'm going to tell you you're on 191, channel 191, Charter Communications. I've been trying to get it at my television, and there's a lot of nights that they're not showing anything. So I'm going to check with the gentleman here that does the television, Randy, and see what's going on. Because normally you'd get something if you turn 191 on. Approval of tonight's agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? All right, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Included in the packet are the minutes from June 20th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to the meeting minutes?
There's a missing dollar sign.
Where?
Come on.
That's
As
an
editor, I should have picked that up.
Yes, you should have. Where we were talking about the audit in the highlights, first bullet point, second line,
second
thirds of the way through. Missing dollar sign, Mr. Broecker. I will fix that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I got.
The meeting minutes stand approved as amended. Expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the invoices in front of you? You will see there was a few that we did add on. The one is the attorney Williams firm, and there was what, Tom?
There's two.
Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. All right, is there any discussion in regards to the invoices?
What was the bumper damage on the 2016 Tahoe? What was that about, Chief?
Chief?
We all looked up. The Tahoe was backing up and a car was across the road, parked not in the right place.
Oh, so
And-
physics happened to the bumper.
Yeah,
of the Tahoe.
so we, it's all fixed.
Was Chief arrested?
No. The person that parked the car was arrested.
He was tested and,
He came clean?
There was clean.
Clean?
Yeah,
Breathalyzer,
Body
passed his
cavity
breathalyzer.
search.
yeah. All right, I need a motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $508,570.44.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Shoemaker is absent. Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, public hearings, none. Reports. Fenton Township Fire Chief. This is second quarter. Chief Bowles, would you like to come up and present your information?
That was my first crash in 30 years.
just to let you know.
I just want to know what category that fits into in the report. Is it
Yeah.
showing?
I didn't see that, actually, in the pie chart.
That's not in the pie chart. We had 197 alarms in the second quarter in Fenton Township. 12 fires, 143 EMS calls, 10 hazardous conditions, 11 service calls, 16 good intent calls, 4 fire alarms, or 4 false calls, and 1 special type call. And of those 197, 17 of them were in Tyrone Township.
Okay.
13 EMS calls, 2 hazardous conditions, 1 good intent call, and 1 false alarm.
Is there any questions in regards to the fire chief?
Chief Falls.
Can you tell us about new equipment we recently obtained?
We just purchased a AutoPulse device, which the AutoPulse device does compressions for CPR. The Sheriff's Department now is already using one called the Lucas, and it seems to be pretty effective. It's just we went for the AutoPulse because it was more better on life prevention after using it, as if the percentage of using it. Plus, it takes up a little bit more space. It's bigger, but it has more features to it. It has its own half backboard. Probably here in the near future, we can do a presentation, show it to the whole board. It's gonna work. So.
Is this like a frame with a cylinder in it?
It's like well, that's the Lucas device. This one here is a belt that goes over and latches on and compresses all the chest.
Oh, really?
Not just the sternum, it does the whole chest.
Okay.
So it,
Same principle, newer technology.
yes, yes. So same cost, same ballpark range as the other one, but it's gonna be, it's carried in car 1. So now car 1's, it's already been a BLS licensed vehicle, so it's got everything but a drug box, which the paramedics carry. So we've got AED on it and the AutoPulse. So it's we have a lot of full arrests in Fenton Township. We average about 25 to 30 a year. So
25 or 30
it's going to be a good device to have.
a year, full arrest.
So, and getting on, during the daytime hours when we're, short-staffed, it's good to have because you can use less manpower on working a full arrest. So.
I've seen the other device save a man's life, so I don't know what it costs.
They work. I mean, they're
They
worth
work.
every penny. So, I mean, if you can just save one person, it's worth it.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
it's like we do with the dive team. If we can rescue one person, it's worth it. So, which they are all out training. They've been training every weekend. They were out on the 5th, out on the lake diving. One of the problems we're having on Lake Fenton where they dive at is the boats are driving over top of them.
Even with flags out?
They're buoyed off, they're flagged. The
And
new
then
boat
the
has
raft.
keep back 300 feet. We need the people to stay back. Because sometimes there's 5 guys in the water. So just wanted to kind of get that out there just for a little awareness for the people in the lakes. The one buoy sticks off the ground about 3.5 feet. There's also a flag on the back of the boat. So,
And a huge pontoon,
yep.
huge pontoon,
And it's red, you can't miss it.
that's for sure.
Just a quick question. Does the chest compression device work in conjunction with the defibrillator?
Yes, you
or
put your pads on first from the defibrillator, and then you lock the vest over top of them and go.
go?
So pretty much all we have to do now is it'll beep when you're supposed to give them breaths. You have to do so many breaths in compression with the compression device.
Has it been used yet?
No, I just put it in service today.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So while we're on the topic, it has nothing to do with cheap. I'm a public service announcement. Those AEDs, we had a guy go down in basketball. That's where I saw this used.
Oh, okay.
We were fighting amongst ourselves where we were going to hit the guy with because you've all seen it on TV where they shock. The new devices, you don't need to worry about that. Just get the pads in place.
And
They
they
actually
tell you.
test, and they only shock if it needs to shock. And they're really simple. When you look at them, a 5th grader could put them on, but when somebody's on the ground, all of a sudden simple becomes complicated.
It's all down to pictures. They have a picture on the pads that tells you exactly where to put
You
them.
match them up, you plug the wires in, and you listen to it. It talks to you, or at least the one on the way you have it.
Yes.
It'll tell you to stand clear. And when it goes off, it's just like you see on TV with a taser. Every part of them's shaking, and they hit this guy 8 times with that
Oh.
thing.
We just replaced our AEDs too in the chief vehicle, the one here in the township office, and the one in each rescue. So that was also included in that purchase.
So if you're in that scenario, just don't worry about it. Get them wired up, and pay attention.
Good decision for the
We were-
purchase.
We were at a restaurant Friday night, and a young girl sitting next to us started passing out. And you could see that her lips were going just gray. And we yelled for a wheelchair. They got a wheelchair. Happened to be 2 firemen in the restaurant. They got that girl in a wheelchair and took her out into the parking lot. They had, the one fireman had all the equipment in his car or whatever.
That's Captain Heiser.
Yeah, I was never so impressed. He was dialing 911, everything, but it was like, boom, like that. I mean, they caught
Like I
her
say, our
blood pressure.
firemen are scattered out through the community. They're everywhere. So it's
They were
always,
eating dinner.
and a lot of our guys carry their own equipment with them, so.
I was impressed.
Mhm.
Is there any other questions?
Chief, could you tell us the reaction you were talking about in the public safety meeting of the residents that happened to be there that seen this new device?
Yeah, we had actually 3 residents in picking up some CO detectors. And they were they were shocked at first, but quite impressed afterwards after seeing the device work, because we had a mannequin and it was actually doing compressions on the mannequin. So they were very impressed with the seeing a device like that. So
What do you mean picking up CO detectors?
what we did is, when we had the incident back in February with the
Quazarano?
Quazarano family,
Correct.
we started in conjunction with the Q project and have kind of attached ourselves with them. And what they do is have fundraisers, and they raise money and they purchase CO detectors. And then what they do is they come and bring them to me, and then some they keep and we distribute them through the township. We've covered a lot of people in Fenton Township, Linden, and Fenton. So it's pretty much the whole south end.
So we have CO detectors at the township fire department?
Yeah, we have approximately 100 left right now.
And what are those for?
The CO detectors at the station, they're for anybody that would wish to come and pick one up. They can come and pick one up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't know if it's changed or not, but we had a similar experience as yours at Lucky's one time. And it was me that had to call 911, and I called 911, and they go, so what township are you in?
Okay. I
And
know
I'm
what you-
like, I don't know. I mean, I'm in a panic mode, you know, and the lady's heart had stopped beating. And it was like, she said, well, I gotta know where you're at.
Well, a lot of the problem we have is a crossover between Genesee County Dispatch and Fenton City Dispatch.
Yes.
And a lot of our stuff goes into Fenton City, and then they got to reroute it to Genesee County, depending on where you're at. If you were at Lucky's, you were in the city of
And
Fenton,
it's a
Yes.
cell tower.
and that hits the south tower.
Yeah.
Well, all I know.
No, it's still about the same.
If you dial, but see now, even people in Fenton don't know this. You dial 629-5311. Then it goes direct to 911, because at St. John's in the summer and even in the winter, people pass out at Mass all the time. And we hit that number and we have ambulance right there really quick. But I don't know, I don't think they'll ever change it, Ryan. Do you? I
Yeah,
don't think so.
The thing is if you're calling from a landline, the landline should go directly into Fenton Dispatch.
How you doing?
Or it should go in the appropriate place if you're calling from a landline. If you call from a cell phone, it's going to pick up on the tower, like Mark was saying, on the south tower, which will automatically go into Fenton City.
Maybe he's training of the public then on that. Whatever.
It's just about location where you're at, though. I mean, you can't
Right,
run 2 miles down the road and call and have a go to
It's the
Genesee County.
nature of 911 on a cell tower.
Yeah.
You know, it might not hit you might not hit the closest tower, but whatever tower your signal locks onto, that's the one where, that's why there's a, you know, if you're in Fenton Township, there's a good chance you could ping a Fenton City tower, go to that 911, and then they have to route it to the Genesee County 911. It's just the nature of the beast with cell phones, because they're just looking, whatever tower they can lock onto first, that's what they'll do. So
Well, it's the same experience that you did when we called 911. We're in a elementary school gym. We called 911, said we need a ambulance at Indian Hill Elementary. Things you don't expect to hear back on the other end. Do you know the address? No. Do you know what street it's on? It's like, how many Indian Hill Elementaries are there? And it's exactly what you're saying. You got a guy, or a gal in your case, down, and they're going gray on you, and you're getting what's the address of the school?
Right.
That
Well, a lot
should-
of it's
that
the
should never
GISD that's in the program too. When they hit the button, if it doesn't pull up, then they have to ask certain questions to prompt them to get to a different avenue,
But
so.
you shouldn't have to tell a
Right.
911 dispatcher where Indian Hill Elementary is, or St. John's Church, or
Or cases,
That's what I just get.
It throws you.
I'm at Lucky's.
it
Yeah.
throws you. I mean, you
Yeah.
just, it does. I just,
Yeah.
all right.
And then my last thing is the burn ban is still on and it's still in force, so, until we get some more rain, it's just, a lot of the communities are taking them off, but I think it's a little too soon.
If we get rain,
If we get some rain here this week and get a little more greener grass, we'll be more than happy to pull it, but as of right now, it's still in force.
okay,
So we're still getting a lot of probably phone calls here at the township and at my office. We're getting, 10, 20 calls a day wanting to know if they have campfires. So right now, no.
okay.
I have one more question.
Yes, Vince.
Chief Bowles, you made a statement that the firemen that work under you have their own equipment, that they keep in their cars. So actually, firemen are capable, if they're out at a restaurant or something like that, it's not paid for, they pay for it themselves?
Yeah, it's their own personal. A lot of our guys are EMTs, so you can get your own BP cuff and your stethoscope and
That's what this one
you can carry a bag with bandages in it and stuff. Only we can't do is they can't administer oxygen because under protocol through Genesee County, they have to be licensed, their vehicle has to be licensed.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Right.
Would we have a liability, the township have a liability
If they had
you were
the
to...
oxygen, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
Or
in the
a
past, they
defibrillator.
carried it, but we had to take it all out because they really enforced it now about
Okay.
carrying the oxygen.
I just wondered, because it would be great if we could supply all
Well,
of our firemen.
here's the thing, if you supplied it, you'd have to supply their insurance on their vehicle. All the vehicles would have to be insured for over $1 million and on and on and on and on. It's just,
Well,
it's
he
just
had called,
easiest to, it's just Med Control's policy.
he had called paramedics. Paramedics was there in a second too.
Well, we're working with the state of Michigan on it
And they
right
did the
now in the
oxygen.
EMS division about using it as a attachment to the ambulance service of, we're just assisting, because we're not transport service, we're just there for the basic assist. So just trying to work a way in that, because there are a lot of departments that do that. Their officers do carry oxygen and stuff. So
It would seem to me it'd be a small price
I
for
think it'd be
community
good.
to pay.
If they could do it'd be great.
We as taxpayers complain about a lot. I wouldn't complain too much about knowing that I had 15 firemen throughout the community
Right.
with enough equipment to save a life.
Well, and as Mark knows too, I mean, if you can get oxygen on a person that's getting ready to have a heart attack, I mean, it's, it's a ball game changer. So,
So that would be something that the state legislature would have to do?
You know what? If I've got oxygen, somebody needs it, I'm gonna give it.
absolutely.
That's all there is to it.
Absolutely. You can deal with it later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, have a good evening.
Is there
Thanks, Chief.
anyone else that has a question for the fire chief? No? Okay. Are there any committee reports to be made? None? Communications? None? Adoption of ordinances? None? This is unfinished business. I need to schedule a workshop meeting for additional sewer upgrades and repairs, the potential financing of this. And I was looking at the meeting for an evening of the week of the 18th at 7, would start at 7, or July 25th at 6, after our regular meeting,
After our meeting.
After or before?
or before.
Before.
I like that.
Before,
Before, yeah.
I won't be able to get here before.
and it's in regards to a bond,
Oh, yeah.
you gotta be here.
What were the choices again?
Any evening the week of the 18th.
Okay.
Now, your zoning board, when is your zoning board?
The 26th.
Okay, so you can't, no 26.
It's a different week anyway, right? You want the week
Is
of the
it?
18th?
Yeah,
I'm out.
I can fill in for you on the 18th if you want.
No, I can do it, I just can't do it before.
well, you can do it after.
Why can't you do the...
Well, why don't we up our
Before
meeting early
I'm golfing.
and let him
Meeting.
come into the meeting?
With the club.
Or we can just have the workshop immediately following the meeting.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be the easiest. You wanna do that, the
On the
workshop right
28th
after the
then?
meeting? On the
We want
25th?
That's fine.
Okay,
Sorry, folks.
all right.
Thanks,
Oh, no.
Tucker.
25th. All right, scheduling a public hearing. This is a proposed amendment to Fenton Township Park and Rec plan. It's in your packet.
After the meeting.
Do I have any board discussion in regards to it? Okay, a motion to schedule a public hearing on the proposed amendments to Fenton Township Park and Rec Plan to be on, here we go, conducted on July 25th at the Fenton Township Board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Shoemaker's absent. I vote yes. Mathis,
Yes.
motion passes.
Proposed Metro Act permit extension, McLeod, USA. You have that huge packet in your group of papers or whatever in regards to that. Now, Tom, this was the one that we had before that came up to us, and I had tabled it.
No, this is a different one.
This is a different
No,
one.
this is one they've already had a Metro Act permit.
And
It
it's
expires
just-
in December of this year, and so they're requesting a 5-year extension.
Okay.
They've not added any more facilities. There's really no change to any of it, just an extension of the existing permit. We did discuss it briefly with Attorney Belzer when we met with him last week, and he didn't see any issues with it.
Okay. Is there any board discussion? All right, a motion is in order to approve a 5-year extension for the Metro Act right-of-way permit issued by McLeod USA Telecommunications Services LLC as presented.
So moved. Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
I vote yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
and Shoemaker's absent. You have 6. Motion
Okay.
passes.
Resolution number 2016-07. This is honoring the retirement of our township attorney, Richard Cooley. A resolution has been prepared to honor recently retired township attorney, Richard Cooley. Now, before we end this, we have, going to have an open house. Have we scheduled that date, Tom?
August 1st.
August 1st. Put that on your
Time.
Here at the township.
planners, and it's here at the township, August 1st, open house to the public for Mr. Cooley, and
5 to 8.
I think it's, 5 to 8.
5 to 8.
Sort of,
All right.
yeah.
Resolution number 2016-07. Clerk Krug, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, thank you. Whereas Richard E. Cooley has retired after practicing law in Genesee County for more than 55 years, 45 of those years as legal counsel for the Charter Township of Fenton, and whereas Mr. Cooley, with his reassuring, calm approach to legal matters, helped guide Fenton Township through 4.5 decades of growth, political turmoil, and economic transformation in an ever-changing legal landscape, providing the township with expert legal services and advice while maintaining the highest level of excellence and professionalism throughout his many years of service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township Board of the Charter Township of Fenton hereby recognized Attorney Richard E. Cooley for his valuable contributions to the progress and development of Fenton Township, for his commitment to the entire Fenton Township community, and express sincere appreciation and gratitude for his dedicated service to the government and citizens of Fenton Township. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this meeting and a copy provided to Mr. Cooley. I'll move the resolution.
I'll second it. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
You want to roll?
Opposed?
Roll.
You want the roll? Okay, roll call, please.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
I vote yes. Kessler.
Yes.
Shoemaker is absent. There's no pressure, Amanda. He's just 45 years. Don't worry about it.
That is quite a history. He could tell a lot of stories. I think one thing I remember about Mr. Cooley, like it said, he spoke very softly and he sat back and never showed a lot of expressions. So every so often I would write little notes to him and just to get him upset. And I remember one time there was a shooting in the township and I wrote him a note, Dick, the man in the plaid shirt in the back just got out of jail. He's the one that shot such and such. No, not you. No. And he got so nervous. He just got really, really restless. But I love to do things like that just to see if he was awake. But the man he was absolutely, is still a very intelligent man, and I'm going to really miss him.
He never raised his voice.
He never raised his voice. No, he really didn't. All right, this is approval of the ballot proposal language. This is a renewal of the mosquito control assessment, and it's in your packet, gentlemen. And do you need any more discussion on this? Tom, how many years have we had it?
Longer than I've been here. I think this dates back to the 80s.
I think so. I think so too.
Yeah, we're proposing the language be the same as it was 4 years ago, for asking the voters to approve up to $30 per year per home.
Well worth it.
Some years we don't have to do the full 30 if we built up a surplus, or if we're under budget for a couple of years. As I indicated in the memo, our current contract runs through 2017, so we won't be looking at a new contract until probably this time next year. That would start in 18. But we would need to get this approved this year so the assessment continues without interruption.
Yes.
But in discussions with APM, they indicated they did not see any significant increases in the works. If we end up bidding it out, we may get more than one proposal, but we're very comfortable that the up to $30 will work for another 4 years.
I'll tell you what, it's worth it. If you go into a township or an area that doesn't have mosquito control, you cannot sit out on your porch or anything. The mosquitoes are so bad. So I need a motion to approve the ballot proposal language for mosquito control as presented, and to authorize the placement of said proposal on the ballot on the November ballot, November the 8th, 2016 general election. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kessler.
Yes.
I vote yes. Shoemaker's absent. Lorraine.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I had an issue with the mosquito control people the other day, and they said, I don't think a lot of people know that there is a no-zone area, that if a person does not want mosquito spraying at their home, they notify them and it's no zone. And one man was very upset because he wanted his property to be sprayed, but they couldn't come up to 2 feet from the fence because that means a no zone. And he did not like that. But also, if the mosquito people come through and I get calls, they're going really fast, they say. They didn't go in our yard, the whole thing. It depends on the wind and the front yard and the backyard, and they're covering everything that they can cover. And they're spraying it really well. But if you have doubts, you can call them and they'll explain to you why they're not going into the backyard but did the front, and it's because the wind blows the front to the back. Makes sense. All right. Proposed amendments. This is the 2016 Fenton Township budget. Operation Manager Tom Broecker, would you like to explain?
Yes, we're proposing some minor amendments in the general fund and the fire fund. Highlight just a couple of things. We are adding categories for dog park revenue and other grants to cover the anticipated costs we're going to spend on developing the dog park, and to accommodate the $3,000 grant we got for the Parks and Rec plan amendment. Other than that, we're proposing, building permits are running a little ahead of budget, so we upped that a little bit. The current ZBA case under appeal is going to up our legal fees somewhat. We increased that budget. The big change was the road costs, road improvement projects, which is on page 8. At the last meeting, we approved another project that required a budget amendment. The real reason for the budget amendment is that the Wiggins Road project was slated for last year. We didn't spend the money, and so we're upping it this year. And that, everything else kind of nets out to almost zero. That one item is really the difference in the general fund budget proposed amendment. On the fire fund, we really just added the sale of the 2003 Tahoe, and the fire chief vehicle was budgeted last year but didn't get spent until this year, so we needed to amend that as well. Other than that, not too many changes. They're still showing a surplus for this year. Other funds were not in need of amendment at this time.
All right. Is there any board discussion in regards to this, to the budget? None? All right. I need a motion to adopt the amendments to 2016 Fenton Township budget as presented.
So
I need a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Kessler,
Yes.
Shoemaker is absent. Pardon me. Mathis,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion passes.
All right. Are there any other comments from the members of the board? If not, I will open it up to public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Would you like to come up to the podium, sir?
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Did you get one done?
Yes. Do you have enough room there? Did you get one
We'll share.
too? Here.
Oh, wait,
I've
I
got
think
it.
we got another one.
Yeah, please do.
There you go.
Wow, you're taking all the fun out of it.
Closer.
John Love is my name. I'm running for state representative.
John, you just have to talk a little louder.
Okay,
People
hello.
There you go.
Hi, John Love. I'm running for state representative against the incumbent. And here's the report that I'm giving you about why I'm doing this. The problem is that they're wasting money on schools by not giving them money. They took $1/3 of $1 billion for a nice hockey rink in Detroit from the school aid fund money. This was done in violation of the Constitution because you need 2/3 vote. But they didn't have it, so they don't bother with that. And also, here's what they're doing. They're going to put the Illich School of Corruption right next to the hockey rink in Detroit, right next to the garbage docks. That's the kind of corruption that's taking place in Detroit. Here's another Illich building right here. He got $1 million to develop this property next to the stadium, but he just kind of left it that way because it's Detroit. The roads. The reason why the roads are not being fixed is because they have the heaviest weights in the United States crushing the roads. It's very simple. They unload the trucks when they get down to the Ohio state line. But it's okay for us to crush the roads because we're going to send the bill to everybody that buys a license plate for their little car or has a job to work. That passed by one vote. Graves' vote was the one vote that passed it. That's unconscionable. We'll talk a little bit more about corruption. Can you imagine a tax frozen for 50 years? There is one, the beer tax. It's less than 2 cents a bottle for 50 years. It's a fixed amount. There's nothing else that's fixed. Your income tax, your property tax, it's all percentages. The lobbyists run Lansing. If they raised it to 10 cents a bottle, which is where it should be, that would give you $400 million a year. Like you could fix a road or like you could fix a school. Michigan education system is in the middle of performance in the United States. And the United States is at the bottom of the Western world. So that's kind of where our education system are, and it's just a shame. I was at the Fenton School District meeting earlier this evening. They're on the warning list for low reserves, so they have to make some adjustments and changes to their system. Holly went through that, they just made some changes. So this is kind of an overview a little bit of what's taking place. I'm suing the governor myself because this 2/3 vote is required in the Constitution. But the Constitution, we don't bother with that because nobody objects. So we just do it. The newspapers don't tell you what's going on. There it is. So it's before the Court of Appeals right now on that one. So I just wanted to let you know a little bit about it. And when you want to talk about Flint, about the water, I worked for General Motors for 30 years. I was there when Flint actually had jobs for people. And now they closed all the plants, blew them all up. Well, there's a couple left still. And now Buicks are made in China and they're importing them to the United States. That's what's happened in this trade deal. My father also worked for a company that built a factory over in China. They finished the factory and they said, well, show us how to make the batteries for our Russian subs we just built. They did, and then say, well, you're bankrupt now, we're taking the company over. There's a plane leaving next week. That's what's going on with trade. So that's why our jobs are where we're at. So I just wanted to share that with you and ask you to consider supporting me in some way, because I can't do this alone. It's going to keep going. Thank you.
John is running for Republican in the party, Republican Party.
Yes.
Yes.
Primary. It's actually, well, there's one other contest in the Republican Party. There's none in the Democratic Party. So the Democrats, they should just, if they want to vote, they should vote in the Republican primary and send some kind of message.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. So it's good to see you all again.
Good seeing you.
It's been 4 years.
All right, I will open up for public comment on agenda items. If none, I just thought of something that I do have. We did the inspection of the Eastview Mobile Home Park, and I have a packet for each one of you, and it tells what the fire marshal, fire chief, give you those, the code enforcement officer, and and he's got pictures. Amanda, I don't know if they gave me enough for you, but I can show you.
Sean's.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you
give
go,
her
Sean's. John wanted to help you out again. Did you get one? All right, everybody's got one? All right, in regards to the Lake Panema, in your packet, you're going to see, I'll open the first one, is from Tom Hosey. I will read his report. This is the code enforcement officer. On June 29, 2016, the annual code compliance inspection was conducted at the Lake Panema Trailer Park. The inspection was conducted by building official Dave Gibson, Fire Chief Ryan Bowles, and myself, Tom Hosey. The inspection consisted of walking through all the streets in the park to look for obvious building code, fire codes, and general ordinance violations. In general, the overall condition of the park was good. Good to very good condition. A review of prior issues at the park indicates past problems with blight and junk vehicles. There are no junk vehicles observed during the inspection. There were several very minor blight issues that was observed. These issues will be addressed with the property manager and will be monitored for voluntary compliance. Photographs were taken to document the circumstances of the park. In closing, it is apparent that the residents and management of the park are putting more efforts to maintaining the property. This is from Tom Hosey, Ordinance Enforcement Officer. This one came from Building Inspector. And again, I'm going to pass these down. 1, 2, 6. And I got one more for Vince. Okay. All right, Dave Gibson, the building inspector. Site inspection to check out for building code violations. Post inspection, no violations found. No recent complaints from residents. Parking looked good. No vacant structures. The appearance of the homes within the park looked good. That was from the building inspector. Fire chief. I'll pass these around. Oh, it's got a staple to it. There you go. I'll put that in. Okay. Fire chief. Site inspection to check for fire violations. Post inspection. No violations found. Letter from fire chief is attached. To all township board members. I met with Dave and Tom this morning and walked through Eastview Mobile Home Park. I focused on gates and points of egress to each unit along with missing glass and skirting. All of the units we looked at were very satisfactory in all 3 of my opinions. We didn't have a representative from the park assist us on the interior checks, but we will request confirmation about their smoke detectors and fire extinguishers, which I believe was provided by the park. The park does look better this year than it ever has. So is there any board discussion in regards to that?
There's no vacant trailers in there?
We've taken them out, and then the ones that were, the building inspector made them comply, and the windows and different things, and at that time electrical. So you'll see vacant spots.
In regards to Eastview, I talked to Representative Graves this afternoon. We had talked several times over the last week, and the governing body of the trailer parks has declined to come visit us on the 21st. We had tentatively set up a meeting on the 21st. I just found that out. Joe and I discussed it. Luckily, we're long-term friends. And what we have come up with now, if we like, we can either take people to Lansing and meet with them, or we can have a phone conference between the governing body for trailer parks, Joe Graves, and ourselves on the 21st, if that's what we'd like to do. I thought we had it all set, and they changed their mind on coming to actually be here. I would suggest that we do the phone conference. That way we can have as many people there to ask questions.
And where would you do that? In the conference room upstairs?
Either the conference room upstairs or wherever we can get a phone. And
do we have a jack in that room, Tom?
The front room? I think we can make one live. We can make some switches in the back room to get phone working in there.
So you're going to schedule a meeting then?
if everybody can do it, I'll try to schedule it in the afternoon, if that works. And as soon as I talk to Joe, I'm gonna talk to him again tomorrow. I'll solidify the time and we'll go for
21st
it.
is what day?
It's Thursday. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday.
So do you want to schedule, I think the residents would like to come, maybe any of you that are interested
We
could just
could post it because we have time. It could be an open
open meeting.
public meeting
Okay.
if we do it that far in advance.
Do you want them to give you their names so you have it?
We'll just post it, I know,
Okay. Just come with your
the
questions.
Garfields and them, and many others.
All right.
Mr. Gopal has a lot, I mean, there's several, so we'll try to set it up where as many people as want. I don't think it would work down here.
I don't think we can do the phone.
I don't either.
That's my
But we
problem.
have the upstairs room and we'll
Yeah.
work on it.
All right, so you're going to get with Mr. Graves and set
Yep.
that up? Okay. All right, is there any other issues? Or, I mean, I'm sorry, I was just reading this right here. Any other comments on agenda or non-agenda items?
Well, I want to talk about the trailer parks more. I know that you've told us that you have retained, you handpicked all of the officers that work for Fenton Township. I ran into the trailer park manager who, of course, jumped all over me because as soon as he heard my name, he knew who I was. And he says that we are being really picky. Now, here's picky for you. The dumpsters are being dumped regularly. There's garbage all over the ground tonight in front of the dumpsters. One of the trailers, and I'm sorry, I don't know which number it is, has a grocery cart in between it. It looks like a VG's cart because it's black. So then the other day, we got cart number 2 out there, sitting in front of the trailer. That sat there for 2 days. Then the next day, we go down the road, right on the front row, right where we have to drive, almost touching the road, is a great big mattress leaning against the grocery cart. So then, now, I don't know how this is not blight and how that's not stealing when you're stealing the grocery carts and they're lined up out in front of the trailers. So then they push the grocery cart with the mattress then finally after 3 or 4 days down to the dumpster. So it lays outside of the dumpster because the manager tells them they can't put, he told me this out of his own mouth, they aren't supposed to put things in the dumpster.
Okay.
So tonight when we come, here's the mattress, here's the grocery cart off to the side in front of the dumpster, and there's all kinds of debris out there, and there's some kind of, I don't even know, some kind of frame for a couch. This is the stuff that you guys are telling us is okay. This is okay.
All right, just for example, we choose to have Genesee County Sheriff Department. We contract them. The sheriff contract is, they tell us what officers that we can have. And Mr. Gopal sat on that, was on the Genesee County Sheriff Department for many years. And the only time I know that you were out here, Mark, was right at the very beginning of your service, wasn't it? And then you were into Marine Patrol. But we don't tell them who we want at all. They are.
Well, the manager, I brought that up to the manager of the park, and he said to me that as far as he's concerned, now I'm just repeating what he said. I don't know one way or the other, but as far as he's concerned, the police aren't doing their job out there because when they come out there, they let them all off with warnings and nothing happens.
Yeah,
So,
that's the sheriff.
well,
Whatever the sheriff, tells the officers, we just commission them.
I will bring that concern up when I speak with Under Sheriff Swans.
Good, good.
but as far as all that, do I understand this correctly from this board, that this is just something we should just live with because you did your reports and your inspections, this kind of stuff that I'm talking to you tonight? Mattresses sitting right next to the road, grocery carts that they've stolen and pushed over there, and between that trailer is just, I don't even know how a fire inspector could pass that. There's no way a guy could get through all that mess that's out there between that one trailer and put out a fire with fire hoses.
All right.
So, I mean,
I'll give this report to Mr. Hosey, and I'll have him check this out. And then we will call, I believe that manager's name is Don, is it?
Donnie, I don't know his
Donnie.
last name.
We'll talk to him in regards to it. And,
But see, we don't want to keep coming to you every time, and this is all the stinking time.
on a daily basis, you're right, yes, on a daily basis. I'm going to let, Mrs. Garfield, I'm going to let all my board members speak to you in regards to this, including myself. Mark, what do you say? I mean, we have one police officer. And then, I mean, we have 3 police officers, and then we have 2 other officers that are for vacation and that. Do they go through, but they cannot do it on a daily basis, no. Who we gotta get with now is this manager, and really get on him again. Because, like you said, the mattress, as far as stealing a cart, that's gonna go to the sheriff department if it's been stolen. Or somebody, I mean, bicycles, anything like that, that goes to sheriff. We'll get with Donnie on the dumpsters and get that.
But I don't want to come up here to these township board meetings all the time and report to you that all this crap is going on all the time. I'm sick of it. I don't want to come here all the time.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, we do not have enough police officers to patrol that park daily. But if you do call, whatever, tomorrow morning, this call will go in to the
But
manager.
your people are telling you that everything's peachy-dory. And, I mean, all 3 reports you read to us,
Yes.
said everything was just fine.
I
It's
had
not
nothing,
just fine.
I had nothing to do with those reports.
I didn't say you
No,
did.
no,
I'm not accusing you. I'm telling you, I don't flat get it, because I don't know how that can be okay.
The reports aren't saying what we're seeing in the neighborhood. The reports are glowing. Now, since the inspection's been over, they've gone back to their old ways, because there's debris on the streets again, and on Eastview, on both sides of the street. He had a guy picking stuff up, and apparently that
We'll
has
just
stopped.
have to get on him again. Got to get on him. We'll get on him tomorrow. Because it was looking really good.
Well,
And I don't know, they were supposed to go on a Thursday, and I was not in on Wednesday, but they went on that Wednesday. So I didn't get this report to just the other day.
It is better, but it's starting to slip again.
Then we got to get back on it too.
Also,
Yes.
Donnie told me in that encounter that I had with him that Sam was getting estimates on building a fence around the dumpster. I'd like to know where that's at. He didn't give me.
I can tell you where that is. That's me. I called Sam and I said, I want a fence, a cyclone fence plus the wood, like we have here at our dumpster. I will get you prices of local businesses in the township. Have nothing to do with it. The first one was $3,400. The other one is $3,100 and some change.
So what's he gonna do?
Well, I just told you, I got the.
Oh, you
the
mean you
bids.
just got it and you haven't given it to him?
No.
Oh, okay.
The one bid came in on the computer and you can barely read it. So we have to call him, and I talked to Tom Hosey today and said we need a better itemized bill if we're comparing apples to apples. But I said the size would be for 2 dumpsters and it would go all the way around. At first, I thought I could do 3 sides and the fence be on the back, but I can't. It needs to have 4 sides.
Well, more of that fence on the back has been
That's
torn
right.
down, and you can see, I mean, it's up, the debris back there is up higher than the fence. Whatever it is back there, I don't get out and go back there and look. I can just tell you that there's a bunch of junk back there because you can see it.
Looks like broken concrete.
And see, some of that's in that property on the other side too. That's on the other side of the fence. Anyway, dumpster thing, yes. Have not talked to Sam yet. Mr. Hosey brought me the last bid today. And we'll get it, that's in the process.
So I'm other than you calling Sam or Donnie or whoever you're gonna call, you're telling us, you as a board are telling us we have no recourse other than, I mean, we're done here?
What recourse would you want, Mrs. Garfield? What are you saying, recourse?
What recourse? I don't want to have to keep coming here all the time to get
All we
that
can
job
do
done,
is,
to get it cleaned up.
we
and
cannot
keep
patrol it
cleaned up.
every day. I can have Mr. Hosey, go through it every so often. But when he does, I mean, I don't come and say, I talked to Sam today. I don't do that. I call Sam and say, Sam, I want this taken care of. I call Donnie and say, I want this taken care of. If you might have seen me, a bunch of you might have seen me right before the 4th of July. I was cruising that inside of that park. And I was actually on the end of Kenny Walker's house talking to a young man, that's the first house, on the curve about litter and things like that. And that young man had gone out, bought a tree, and was planting it and putting rocks around it and putting grass seed. And
I saw it.
but I mean, if you look, they are doing it. I mean, some of them are doing it. But if Hosey doesn't patrol it, I drive a black Chrysler. No, a Dodge. A black Dodge. So you can see me go through it.
Okay,
When
but
I
now
went
this
through it-
mattress situation I'm telling you about has been going on for well over a week.
Well, I haven't been there.
Well, I
It's
didn't
been
say
on
you,
vacation.
somebody.
But this township was closed, Mrs. Garfield. Township was closed for the 4th of July. Anyway, we will do all that we can do, and I hope it makes you happy. But I mean, we are doing what we can do. Sheriff is arresting people, and they are taking people to jail. But people don't hear that because we don't make an issue out of it to the public. We just don't. So, and we have extremely good officers. The group of officers.
I'm not questioning the integrity of the officers.
All right.
I'm not questioning that. So
All right,
don't
all I
misunderstand.
can say, Mrs. Garfield, we're doing what we can do. Does the rest of you agree with me if you hear of the reports? I'm not saying the building inspector, he goes down there. You want to say something, ma'am?
No,
You can go ahead.
I'm talking to him.
Okay. You have to rely on the people that you hire. Now, the fire chief said they didn't have a person to walk through. That's right, because they went on Wednesday and not on Thursday. And I had it scheduled for Thursday. So we have to work through that one.
Well, let me say this. The reports that were read to you tell the board whether the park meets minimum conditions, okay? So I wouldn't classify it necessarily as glowing reports.
No.
I mean, they didn't say that there were a lot of code violations, but you have to keep in mind code violations are the minimum standards, okay? Now, the other end of the spectrum, because what we've had, the dialogue we've had for the last 2 or 3 months has been about things like blight and debris, kind of generic terms. And if you go to court, those are on the other end of the spectrum. If you want to be able to establish blight, a mattress sitting out for a week is not going to be blight in court, okay? So how do we get to a point where it can address the concerns you've been raising for 3 months? How do we do that? Because there's no code violations, minimum standard is met, and we can't get to the top shelf, at least from the things that we have now. The only thing we can do, and I'm going to pass this kudo back to Sean, I think Sean's idea was a good one. We need very specific things from you that can be addressed. You were doing a nice job earlier when you're talking about the carts and the mattresses. Those are specific things that can be addressed where we tended in the past to talk in generalities. So it's not that the reports are here, there's nothing that we can do. The minimum standards are met. We can't go in and ticket them for not meeting the minimum standards because they haven't. I don't think we've gotten to the point where I can convince Judge McCabe that it's blight. I've seen enough of these things. Does that still mean that you got to live with it? No, they can be code violations, but what you're going to have to do as a group, because we're not going to post somebody out there to be there 24/7, 365. You're going to have to file complaints, and they need to be specific complaints so that we can address the issues, because I think that's what Bonnie's been trying to do with what you've been bringing us
Is
today.
Mr. Hosey going to take our complaints?
Oh, sure he will.
He does, but now, at different meetings, people have complained, and we have said, you call Mr. Hosey, but you have to come in and sign a complaint so they can take
That's what I'm talking
action.
about.
Yeah, but it's
we have
got
a
to be
complaint
signed.
process.
We've not seen them signed.
Well,
And that's what
we need to
Mr.
fix.
Hosey needs.
That's what we're getting, that's what we got to work with. Is you're gonna be the eyes on the ground for a lot of it.
What are we doing with the ordinances that, the blight order, all that stuff that was canceled? How are we moving
That's the
forward
old
with
ordinances.
replacing those?
I don't think anything's happened since the last meeting where we canceled them.
We canceled the old.
Yeah, the only
Ordinances
things
are-
that we took away were things that we didn't believe were enforceable in the first
How
place.
can we write a complaint now for an ordinance that's been,
They go into a different category, but I will tell you, Mr. Garfield, we met with Mr. Belzer, our attorney, and he is drawing up some different ordinances. Do you remember what they were, the different ones? One was for mobile home parks, and we met with him,
Yeah, the first meeting that he had,
yeah,
when he took over, we asked him to give us a set of specifics of what we can and can't enforce. And that hasn't been delivered yet, but it's only been.
Well, he's gonna be gone 2 months, right?
2 months. No,
You
he
said
just
she's-
has other, he's not gone for 2 months. He has other meetings in different townships.
He's still
On the
working.
same days. He's still
He
working.
just can't be at these meetings.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
just the meeting.
We're normally the first and third week,
And
all
today,
right, and today we're the second because the
Right.
first was the fourth, so
That's why we have an
he's
upgrade.
got other obligations on the
Yeah.
second and fourth week, and which is why we have.
but
this
Mr.
next
Belzer is on it, yes.
Okay, but we were supposed to be, have a representative from our side involved in that process, and none of us have received any notification.
I don't remember, I will be honest with you, I don't remember that. We have to write up, the attorney does the writing up of
I
ordinances.
understand that.
Then we bring an ordinance to the board and for
Well,
adoption.
there's public comment.
And it's public comment then, yes.
No, you were gonna have a committee, and we were gonna be able to have a representative to express our concerns on that committee. And we wanted a status report on that.
All right, let's do it this way. Let's let Mr. Belzer get us the ordinance. We'll bring it to the meeting. We'll bring it up in front of a board meeting. We'll have public discussion on those subjects. Remember when he sat here, he was writing a lot down from your issues, and so was I. So we're going to deal with those, and if they're not satisfactory, then we'll ask Mr. Belzer to look into it a little bit more.
Does any of the other board remember this conversation that I'm talking about?
I do not.
You do not?
No, ma'am.
I'm not sure it matters. I mean, we need to get,
We
we need to work together. Whether.
Exactly.
Whether we talked about before or didn't talk about before, we need to work together.
Well, the point is, yeah, we need to work together. That's why we wanted a representative on there, and it was brought up by the board that we could have, I believe Sean brought it, or,
You will get input into this.
You will definitely get input.
And more than one opportunity to do it, so, I mean, frankly, you guys are what's pushing this along, so.
well, it seems like we're not got anywhere as of tonight.
You don't, I know you might think that, but I don't think that's literally true. I understand that's not where you want it to be, and I understand you're getting tired and frustrated, but I get that. I think we're all in the same boat, but I think we do need to recognize we gotta do this together. And there are limits, and some of the things that we've talked about, you know, that limits what we can do, but that doesn't mean you don't have options. So when you're saying, we're telling you, no, there's nothing more we can do, I think you're misreading what you're
Well, I
doing.
think that's what those letters said.
No, what those
Oh, no.
letters say
No.
is the park meets minimum code standards. So we can't cite them for code violations because there aren't any, okay? That doesn't mean there's nothing else to do. I don't think we've got to blight, which is the court end of things. So what we've got in the middle is the code enforcement. I think that's what we need to work on, the ordinance language that we're talking about. Those are the kind of things we need to work on. That's what we got to work with.
Well, I guess the rest of us have to make a decision. I know there's a lot of people that are just, they're like, I'm sick of this. We feel like our government has let us down. That's what we all feel like.
What, Mr. Gopal?
I don't know if this is still the case, John, but it used to be township ordinances, and just, this is from my law enforcement, they could sign a complaint against the whoever, and then they would go to court and argue their side.
Absolutely.
And the complainant, the plaintiff, will go to court and, so is that still how that works?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's civil remedies,
Yeah.
but what they're saying is government, come help us. That's not civil remedies. The civil remedies
But I don't
are
know
there.
that they know that they have that option.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
no.
blight,
You can
nuisance.
file a police complaint, a civil complaint, it'll be a ticket. But instead of the officer signing it, it's going to be you that signs it, and then you go in front of the judge, and you show
And
your side.
be Judge
And
McCabe.
the plaintiff, who you're making the complaint against, shows their side, and then Judge McCabe's gonna be the one who decides whether you have there's merit to it or not.
I hear what you're saying, Mark,
Yes.
but you know what, after the state reps coming out and everything, and everybody in any kind of authority throws it right back in your lap, and then we get 3 letters that says they're in compliance with everything, so where do we go?
Well, I think with that,
I've
well, I
never been so
think,
frustrated in my life.
okay.
Okay. Yes, sir. Would you give your name, please?
Yeah, Walt DeMel.
Walt.
It's my understanding what you guys just said over that whole thing, that nobody went inside those trailers, correct?
No, the fire chief said no. He
And
didn't.
how do you rectify, I know minimum requirements, what you guys said, but until somebody goes inside there, you don't know what's going on.
Correct.
But
They have to invite us in, basically. And
But,
it
okay,
sounds
if-
like there's people that are willing to do that. It's just they weren't there or available, or it wasn't an option at the time of the inspection.
Well, either that or they're afraid of their neighbors and what the repercussions are gonna be as
yeah,
well.
we don't know.
Another question, and it doesn't have to do with the trailer park. We live down at the end of Eastview, and there's a pumping station across the street. And a couple of years ago, they did a repair work, and they dug up the pavement right there, and there's a dip. And it's been there for where the pavement is settled, where they did the repair work. And it's been 2 years probably, and that dip is still there, and they have not come out to fix that. And, you know, it's been going on for like 2 years, and that's a nice speed bump right there.
Walt, what's your address?
14022 East View Drive.
Okay. I'll have the sewer people check that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone? Yes, David?
First off, I've got a question for Bob Krug.
I didn't do it.
No, but
And if you want me to, I will tomorrow. I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
I vote by way of absentee ballot. And a lot of you people don't, but when it comes, you'll see it. It's the primary ballot. And you have to vote either or. And I don't understand that because I read the comments and the contestants or candidates, whichever you want to call them. And some I wouldn't vote for in a million years. And some I'd only be too happy to support. And it's pretty sorry because you can't vote the way you want to vote. Because you take in some are unopposed, some aren't, and you don't know which way to go. I mean, it's really pretty sorry. You can't even say the lesser of two evils, really. Why?
Well, currently, state law demands that the primaries are what they call a straight party vote or a straight ticket. And you, in the ones that are for a party, Democratic, Republican, those you can vote one or the other. Now, the non-party associated candidates, you can vote as you want, but the state law mandates that Michigan is one of them that has a straight party ticket.
It stinks, it's wrong.
I couldn't agree with you more, but I'm sworn to enforce the current state law.
Why?
Change it tomorrow.
How do they justify
Well,
it?
Dave,
It's a waste of
Yeah.
your time,
Dave, the
my
purpose of a
time.
primary is to pick your players for the November election. It's basically culling down all the candidates, and it's not necessarily, it's basically picking the team you want for November. That's the purpose of a primary election.
By party, though, that's what you have.
By party,
By
it's
party.
your
Each
party.
team
You don't
is picking
have to, if you're a Republican, you can actually vote Democrat.
Democrat, yes.
But you have to vote all, not all candidates, but you have to only pick candidates that are non-party or Democrat. And basically what a primary is, you're just picking the players on the team that you want for the November general election.
Without a straight party vote in the past, there were occasions where a party, irregardless of which party, feels, okay, we've got a good candidate, but not the strongest candidate. But that good candidate is going to win party A. So if you could vote for them and others, they went and picked the weakest candidate from the other political party and voted for him or her, changed it, Amanda, her, because they felt he's good, he can definitely beat this person.
That's true.
So to take out the decisive play on votes, they went to the straight party.
If you want to read more about it, Dave, just Google closed primaries and
I won't Google because I don't know how to turn the damn thing on, let alone Google.
Okay. Well, it's good old political science. There's a difference between an open primary and a closed primary. And I think it's actually the parties that make that selection. Because you go in other states, they do have open primaries where you can vote part Republican, part Democrat. And what Bob is describing to you is called crossover voting. That's what they do. We got a strong Democratic candidate that's going to be nominated by the Democrats. We'll go to the Republican primary and vote as a Republican for that position, and we'll pick the weakest candidate to try and help the Democrat.
Yes.
And it works, it's a two-way street. I'm not picking on any party. They all play political games.
What has that got to do with running our country the way that you and I think we wanted it founded?
Well, you're talking politics and the way we want our country run. We're
No,
on
we're
two
not
different.
talking politics, it's called BS.
Well, we're talking two different universes anyway. Those two don't have anything in common with each other. This is the political system that we have. It is not a happy one. And I think we're seeing that in this presidential election. It's
Sad.
kind of messed up.
All right, David, you have something else?
Yeah, I do,
Okay.
but I still feel it's a waste of time and ink.
Dave, let me interrupt you. As bad as our system might be, it's still a heck of a lot better than a lot of other countries.
I don't dispute that 1 minute, but that does not make it right, Bob.
Like I said,
All right. What
Now,
else, David?
how many lakes do we have in Fenton Township here enrolled in the weed control program?
Oh, weed control. Tom will tell you that.
I should be able to look that up quickly.
Lake Fenton just started. Squaw. Panema.
Panema.
Tom? Tupper?
Yeah, we just did
Tupper,
we just did Tupper,
Dollar
we just did
Lake.
Panema, Fenton.
Boom Crane.
10 lakes and 1 channel.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
10 lakes and 1 channel. Okay. That's pretty good. That's more than I might have thought even. Okay. How are these weeds controlled? What do they do to control them?
Well,
Herbicides.
it's a herbicide chemical that will kill
Sure.
only the invasive weeds. They can't kill native grasses and weeds that are in a lake. I can find a list for you. I just can't repeat them all right now.
And some lakes have different types of weeds.
Milfoil is one that they can
dear.
kill, and some of the others.
I understand that. So you're telling me, and I knew the answer to that question before I asked. You're telling me that they spray these lakes. Isn't that correct?
Yes, to the best of
Do
my
you know of
knowledge.
any of the lakes that they harvest?
No, not in our township. City of Fenton does the mill pond, and they're doing it right now, aren't they?
Yes. And that is
That's why you're
my bone
upset.
of contention.
But that's the city.
The fact remains that they affect the township. Now, somewhere along the line, the town and the township do not get along worth beans from my past experience, because
That's-
I have spoken about this before, and different situations. Now, if they can spray on 9 or 10 lakes and take care of the weed control, and I can tell you about a couple of them that were maybe not as bad as what the mill pond is right now. And I'm looking at the current paper right now. It came this past weekend. It was published, and fix coming for stinky mill pond. You don't put a Band-Aid on open heart surgery. You just don't do it. They have been cutting weeds in there for I don't know how long. Years and years and years and years and years. And we've been through this before. Many, many weeds, like dandelions or whatever, are spread by fragmentation. These lakes, whether they have a boat that they put in and they take it out from there, or whether it's connected by water directly, as some of the lakes are in chains, why can't they spray like other people spray, rather than chew it up and do it like that? Now, I understand that lake, that mill pond is shallow. It gets warm. Any shallow water gets warm. Weeds proliferate in warm, shallow water. Now,
All right, Dave, I know what you're saying, because each year you do say that. But the one thing that we have in the township, we don't tell the people to spray the lakes. We tell the people that if they want their lakes treated, they come to us. We will collect this on an assessment and onto their taxes. Now, all our lakes are not sprayed by the same person. Lake Fenton is totally different than Squaw.
they don't mow them with a gigantic lawnmower, Bonnie.
No, wait a minute, Dave, hold on. No, the associations of the lake choose to spray in our township. We don't have anything to do with city, and I know what you're saying. When I saw that machine tonight on the news, I knew you would be speaking about it, but we have no control of that. I know what you're saying because it goes down the Shiawassee River into Panema and different things. And we do get along with the city. Today, there was 4 of us sitting trying to get something to go, get something working for a regional program, and this board will know as soon as we get a meeting scheduled. So years ago, they hated each other. I've been on the board forever. They did, but not anymore. We do work with the city, and we work with City of Linden, and we work with Argentine and all the rest of them, and Tyrone Township. So it's what the people themselves on the lake choose to do.
Well, Bonnie, you've been around the block a while, and
I
it's
have
been
been
a
a while.
while since we had the laundromat that had the bad grain that was getting into the creek. that was messing up Lake Fenton here in years past. It's been several years back. And they pushed that around and they swept it under the carpet for quite a while. But eventually, they did get it taken care of.
They did, but
But they stopped
and then I'm
it.
gonna have to, we got a few more minutes and then I gotta cut it, Dave, but what he's saying, and I'll tell you in the public, at the south end of the lake was a drain called Donner Drain. And when he says the laundromat, City of Fenton, there's malls. I'm not sure if it was a laundromat, but I know the oil company, the oil change company was one of them. And it was the Hamity Plaza and that. And things were onto the parking lot. When it would rain, it would go through our sewer system, our drainage, storm drainage. And there was a drain at the south end of the lake, and it would come into the lake. There was a lady named Jane Brown, and she fought the system, and she won it, and they did close that down. But on the others, I don't know, but I know we don't do milling at all. It will not, because the people don't want that.
Mr. Holcroft, have you ever thought about going to the city meeting and talking to them directly?
Oh, I would in a heartbeat.
Why don't you?
I don't know when it is, and I don't know if they have public access.
Oh, yes,
You
they
folks
do.
are pretty kind to
Just
listen to
they
people
have
like
to have
me.
an open
They
meeting.
have to, yeah. And like tonight was a meeting. See, ours is the first and
Can I
third.
still make it?
All right.
I doubt it. But they do meet on the
Second and fourth.
and fourth Mondays of the month. Tonight, we're in conflict with them because of
Our
different
schedule.
issues.
I don't know how they justify that. I just swear I don't know how they justify that. Lyndon doesn't do it. Holly doesn't do it that I'm aware of. And it's all part of the same watershed.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Holly gets the leaves out of the mill.
All right, yes, Dave, I'm gonna let Walt talk now, if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
About that, when they cut their weeds down there, we live on the channel on the north end of the lake.
Yep.
When that comes out of the river, where does it go? Depending on which way the wind is blowing. it
You're
usually
right.
down into that channel.
Absolutely.
And you have all that duckweed that came from them into ours, and it is a green slime like it's no tomorrow, just like that picture shows in the paper. And they're not being very neighborly to us.
You need to, just like Mr. Lorraine said, the article in the paper was good. It really was good. That would be a time to go to the city and express your feelings in regards to that.
We've
But-
been putting up, right after they cut it, you know what, and I'm all for them doing their weeds, but after they cut it, all that stuff just comes down, and when the wind changes out of the north and pushes it back out again, eventually it goes away, but still, for that week or 2 weeks maybe, we're stuck with that slime.
Yeah.
Well, they make headlines about that being a fix, and that is not a fix, because they've been doing the same thing for 20 years and it hasn't gotten a bit better. But all the lakes that have been sprayed and treated that I'm aware of have gotten better.
And then I won't say no more about it, but a lot of this also is the algae bloom. Maybe 4 years ago, Lake Panema, maybe 5 years ago, had the algae bloom on Eastview, down by Frank's. I have never smelled anything in my life so bad. You couldn't even hardly keep your eyes open, the burning. We got with the neighbors called us, we got with the DEQ. DEQ came out and said there really is a natural thing. And it was dry weather like this, lake levels are going down, but it's also current. On television today, it said at the mill pond, there's no boats. If there was boats, it would help, because it would move it around. So anyway, that's what you should do. If you are concerned and see your Lake Panema residents, maybe they've never heard that before from anybody. It wouldn't hurt, would not hurt. Yes, sir.
I just want to say one thing quickly about this trailer park deal. Michigan is the only state that has a trailer park commission. That's all trailer park owners that set the rules.
Yeah, we found that out.
And it's all been, they're one of the most powerful lobbies in Lansing, and they run this show. It's the only state. They can do whatever they want. I've been to hearings where the House talked about this, and these people would come in with these disaster stories. So they've insulated themselves totally.
For the board.
They're not going to change it. It's not going to change.
So,
No.
good luck.
All right, is there any other comments to be made to the board? If not, I will say good evening. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, sir.